Well, once again, I thought I was going to be late. It ended up being right on time. Oh, my good gracious. Man, this thing, I cannot get it adjusted. There we go. I think. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, what's up, Jay? All right. Glove up here. I think. Not sure. I'm mostly going to be tongue oiling stuff. But I think I've got one thing I'm going to stain this morning. I am worn out. This has been a hell of a week. I had to strip, sand, stain, and reseal a set of like 8-foot high mahogany doors. I don't know who in the world needs 8-foot high doors, but goddamn, that was difficult. Oh, yeah. Last week of spooky season. It has been crazy this year. I have had so many orders this year for spooky season. Hey, what's up, Antonio? Do I use, what is that? Naphtha? Not to my knowledge do I use naphtha, no. I don't even know what that is. We got some Tessin and Uwara that I'm going to be tongue oiling real quick. We got these new ones in the shop. I had an acquaintance, the fellow maker, he had some wood that he couldn't use. So he gifted it to my shop. He told me it was all Cumaru. And so I thought I was working with Cumaru. And apparently the first board I grabbed was the one board in the lot that was not Cumaru. It was Pal Ferro, which I did not know. I made a couple of limited edition stakes with it. One's, I think we have got one left that's still in the shop. And I'm making Pakiwara out of it. This Pal Ferro wood, apparently one of the strongest woods in the world. I did not know that. So I only have the one piece that I'm making stuff out of. So if you want a Pakiwara or palm stick made from one of the strongest woods on the earth, they are on my shop right now. At least I think a couple of them I have in stock right now. And the limited edition stake that I made out of them. I've only got one left. Those stakes, one of them sold before I could even list it. That was why I didn't do a finished works video last week. And the reason I didn't is because all the new stuff that I made was sold before I could get the video up. So I think in moving forward, I'm just going to do my finished projects videos on Sundays after I get done with them, because trying to do it during the week, like all of it was already gone, so I didn't really see the point of doing that. This one, this is maple. This came from a cut off piece at a job that I went on this week, or actually I was on it last week, and they were going to throw this away, so they gave it to me. It's hard maple, and I made a cool little Vampire Hunter dagger short sword. And I can't decide if I want to tung oil this so that you can still see the wood, or if I want to stain it dark. I don't know. What do you guys think? Give me your opinions in the comments there. I am absolutely getting ready to hunt some vampires, Boone. Vampire season is upon us, folks. If the vampire apocalypse ever happens, you guys, my house and my shop will be the safest place in the world to be, because I have some more stakes. I have more vampire killer stakes in my shop and at my home than probably any other human on Earth. I imagine, like, if that ever happens, I'm going to be like Buffy in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. I'm just going to be dumping all my steaks into a duffel bag and handing them out to people. Hey, what's up? I'm sorry, I have no idea how to say that name. Oh, thanks, God, I appreciate that. I got a lot of stuff to do today. First, I got some yellow heart. I've already got a ton of these on the shop. I just had a couple pieces. I got some yellow heart palm stick Uwara that we're gonna tung oil. I got a Tenarashi Tessin and some steaks. And then I've got these. These are gonna be fun. These are Pahoa. This is a Polynesian design. This is a replica of a museum piece. These are made from Kumaru wood, which is also like Pau Ferro. This is stronger than black walnut. Not as strong as Pau Ferro, but still extremely strong stuff. The Polynesian cultures used to make their stabbing implements out of wood because steel and iron wasn't exactly easy to come by for them. And I didn't think it was going to be as sturdy. This design, as far as for a stabbing implement, this design is awesome. Like, it is, like, this would be reusable as a battlefield weapon. Most wooden daggers that have a stabbing tip, aside from like wooden stakes, are usually a one and done kind of thing. But not those. It honestly is, the design is very similar to a wooden stake, except for the handle. The handle tapers in, which is smart, because when you have a handle that tapers in the center, when you squeeze it, it tends to pull it into your hand. I actually have Uwara on my shop that I do a palm taper on for that reason as well. Best man in every way possible. Definitely not true. That's not true at all, my man. I am not the best man in every way possible. That is a liar, pants on fire situation. I am not. I have so many flaws. I got all the flaws. I'm one of those people that mostly I look good on the surface or on paper. In reality, I am a disaster. Disaster area. Do not enter the disaster area. You don't want to. Well, don't enter me in any way. Please don't enter me. But I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. All right, put this bad boy up. And these Tenarashi Tessin, I started making these a few weeks ago, and I've made them in most of the different kinds of wood I have in my shop, but this one is white ash. I had not made one out of white ash yet, so figured I would give it a shot and see what it looks like. Came out okay. However, because it's white ash, I didn't sand it up to 1,000 grit. I only sanded it to 800 because white ash, I don't want to close up the grain completely because I want it to absorb the tung oil. But these were used in Japan by Daimyo Samurai Lords as a tertiary weapon and also as a disciplinary device. If one of their retainers or samurai was doing something they didn't like, you smack them upside the head. It was made to resemble a folding fan because many daimyo carried iron folding fans, but folding fans don't exactly make the greatest striking implements, because if you shake loose that center pin, it will come apart, and they were not cheap. So this was their answer to that. They're mostly used now by people who do tessenjutsu. Some people in Kobojitsu use them. I think Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and probably Kobudo also probably uses them. Kobudo, I just assume any Japanese weapon is used in Kobudo. All right, put that bad boy up. Whoa, how's everybody doing this this fine Saturday? And then these are just some boring steaks that I made out of. I sold out of Joe Stabs that I make out of hard maple. I sold out of them about a month, maybe not a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago. And I went to make more, and all of my blanks that I had left to make these Joe Stabs out of, they were all warped. I don't know how that happened, but anyway. So I'm not selling warped Joe Stabs, so I decided vampire steaks it is. This is probably the last week for a little while you're going to see me making vampire steaks, though. I have made so many vampire steaks in preparation for and during spooky season. It's been nuts. I know apparently they're rebooting Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so it seems like a lot of people are back on the Buffy the Vampire Slayer costumes, so a lot of my stuff has been for that. Although I've had a few people go more old school. I had at least one guy that he was going as an old school like Hammer Films style vampire hunter this year. He bought a hammer and stake set and a cross and stake set from me. I had a vampire hunter kit, but unfortunately it ran into some issues towards the end, and I need to fix those before I can relist it. So I didn't get the vampire hunter kit up in time for spooky season this year, but I'll probably have it up in time for Christmas, and if it doesn't sell, it's always next spooky season. All right, one more after this. What are you guys up to today? Everybody looking forward to Halloween? I know I am. Although I don't really do anything for Halloween anymore. I more or less stay home and watch bad horror movies. Which is also what I'm going to be doing tomorrow after I get done with my morning live stream. I do a live stream on Sundays for my finishing work at about 7:30 a.m. So if you're up tomorrow at 7:30 a.m., come join me for that. But yeah, I'm going to do The Burbs, which bothers me that I'm doing The Burbs. If you've never seen The Burbs, it stars Tom Hanks. Corey Feldman is also in it. It's a great movie. One of my favorite movies. Tom Hanks' wife in the movie is played by Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia. It's a horror comedy, but man, it's so good. And I was noticing recently that it has been labeled by the internet a bad film. So we're gonna try to redeem it. Because in my opinion, it is probably one of the best horror comedies ever made. Like, I think it's right up there with like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It is hands down It is a genius film. If you've never seen The Burbs, highly recommend it. If you've got Tubi, it is free on Tubi right now. Hey, thanks for the likes, everybody. Yeah, the whole Hammer series is also on Tubi right now. Yeah, I saw that. Which I haven't had time to go watch any. I need to go do that probably. I might do that honestly for Halloween. I might do a Hammer film marathon because God, I love those old Hammer movies. The Hammer series, if you guys don't know, in the I think the 60s and 70s for the most part, it was a British kind of thing. They had a series. It starred like Vincent Price. God, what's his name? My brain is blanking. He was in Star Wars. God damn it. Jay, help me out here. What was that guy's name? He often starred in it as a vampire hunter. Vincent Price sometimes played a vampire, sometimes played a vampire hunter. But what's the other guy's name? Dude from Star Wars. I can't remember his name. It's going to drive me nuts all day if I don't know. I'll have to look it up later. Because my phone is what I'm streaming on. So these are the Pal Ferro Yawara. I think I've already got one or two of these up on the shop. One of the strongest woods on the planet. It is a very oily wood, so this is going to take these probably a day or two to cure, because this tung oil mixes with the oil in the wood and it takes a long time for it to cure. I found that out the hard way. To be honest, as strong as this wood is, I probably don't need to tung oil it, but I like the finish that it gives, so that's the main reason I'm doing it on these, mostly for Darth Vader. No, Tony, Darth Vader was not in Hammer films. Although Darth Vader Vampire Hunter would absolutely be a movie I would go see. Can you imagine? That would be awesome. That's what we need. We need, get on it, Disney. We need a Darth Vader Vampire Hunter movie. It would be over so fast, though, dude. The vampires would show up and Vader would just end everybody. That would be it. That would be the end. Well, let's see if I can get the tung oil into the hole there. There we go. These are the Polynesian Pahoa daggers. Peter Cushing, thank you. Dear God, thank you for that. Jay, Peter Cushing. You're imagining thinking your opponent's holding hot dogs and then getting whacked. That's funny. But yeah, Peter Cushing. I freaking love the Hammer films. I actually have several different vampire steak designs in my shop that are inspired by the kinds of steaks they would use in Hammer films. They usually use really big, bulky steaks, like very big steaks, usually accompanied with a hammer, hence the Hammer films, because they would put the steak over the vampire and then hammer it in through the sternum, which honestly, like, makes sense. Although I feel like just slamming it through the sternum is probably the faster, more efficient way. Doing it with a hammer, I feel like that's going to be slow and painful. Maybe that was the point. I don't know. But yeah, these Pahoa daggers, this is Kumaru wood, which I also really like. These, I've been getting a lot of, one of these is custom. One of these is going up on the shop. I've been getting a lot of orders recently, custom stuff for Polynesian stuff. I think probably because of that Jason Momoa movie that's on, I think it's on Netflix or Apple TV. I don't know. It's on one of the streaming services. I don't know. So I think it's going to end up being like how people were with the Viking stuff a few years ago. With the Viking series, there were so many different series. Like you had like the Last Kingdom and Vikings and all that stuff. So everybody was had like Icelandic blood back when that was going on. Everybody was a Viking. But now it seems like everybody's interested in Polynesian weapons, so that's what I'm making. But I do like this Pahoa style. I like it. I like the design of it. It's definitely a good stabby. And these will be up on the shop tomorrow. Well, at least, two of them will. I've got one I already made that's going to go up, and then I've got one of these is a custom, and the other one's a custom, so... It's all about Moana. Is that what it is, Tony? Is that why everyone's interested in the Polynesian weapons? Because of Moana? It's not the whatever Chief of War movie with Jason Momoa. It's Moana. I hear that movie's really violent. All right. Oof. Now, oh crap! I screwed up. You guys, hold up. I always forget the bokken. I got a Shoto bokken I've got to do. Because for some reason the Shoto bokken seem to be my most popular bokken. They're the short sword bokken that I sell. Which, by the way, all of the wasters and bokken, if you're new and don't know this, all of the wasters and bokken in my shop are guaranteed for up to a year, possibly more. I don't know that I would put a definite date on it, but if you buy one of my wasters or bokken and you go to use it as it's meant to be used in sparring, for example, and it breaks on you, I will replace it with no charge. You don't have to return the old one. You just message me. I usually would like to see a picture just because I want to see how it broke. Because not because I don't trust you. Mostly it's because I want to know if it was due to a flaw in the wood, or a flaw in my design, or a flaw in my grain figuring. That helps me from having it happen again in the future. In the last 4 years or so that I've had this shop, I've only ever had one customer come to me and ask for a replacement. And dear God, somebody's got like the bass that just rattled the windows. I've only ever had one person ask for a replacement, and the reason that his broke was because he had a practice dummy made out of steel pipes that was embedded in the ground with concrete, and he was smacking it as hard as he could with a wooden sword. Listen, guys, if you smack anything in any steel dummy that is embedded in the ground with concrete, and you've got wood or steel, it doesn't matter what you're using, it's going to eventually break. You have to pad your dummies, man. You can't smack wood on steel and expect it to hold up. But all of my bokken and wasters are guaranteed for up to and probably slightly over a year. I mean, I've got people out there. I think I know at least one person that bought one of my bokken like 16 years ago. They're still using it. So now, given that bokken was a mineral oil, not a tung oil bokken. Mineral oil, if you're going to be using it for impact training, mineral oil is usually a better way to go. Tung oil's not bad. All right, put this bad boy up. The reason I tend to use tung oil with my stuff is because it's permanent. It's a little more permanent. Mineral oil has to be replaced over time. And the only people that buy from me that usually want the mineral oil immersion are my Buhurt, HEMA Armored Combat guys. Because when they're sparring with their wasters, if they're in full kit, they're hitting each other, while they're wearing armor. So if you have a wooden practice weapon and it's soaked in mineral oil, it makes the outer part of the wood softer than the inner part of the wood. So you get the strength of the wood on the core, but the outer part is more likely to dent instead of crack. So it's easier for them to fix them. If it gets a dent, they just sand it out, put more mineral oil on it. However, the mineral oil doesn't last forever, and so they will, they try to, anytime they're getting ready to use it, the night before, they'll soak their practice weapon with mineral oil so that it's ready to go. So this is the last thing I've got left. This is a hard maple cutoff that I got on a job site. They were going to toss it out. And I was like, no, please do not throw that away. I will use that. So I have made a Vampire Hunter wooden short sword. I was going to tongue oil it, but maple tends to look really cool with a stain, so I think I'm going to stain it. So that's what we're going to do. And give it Jacobean or however you say this. I don't know. I've only ever seen it written down. I've never heard it said. I think it usually looks pretty good with Vampire Hunter stuff. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. Oh, go for it, Tony. Give it a shot. I would love to see you try to break it with normal use. If you go out there and whack it against the telephone pole, it will break. That any wooden sword would. The reason I know that my Bokken and Wasters are strong as hell was I actually went to a Armored Combat Buhurt training camp a couple years ago and brought just about every design that I have of practice weapon. And I let those guys go to town. They sparred with those all day and they couldn't even get a crack. So at the end of the day, I don't drink anymore really, but they did. And holy craps, these guys got absolutely shit-faced that night. And I handed off my weapons to them and I said, go nuts. See what you have to do to break these. And when it came down to it, the biggest guy among them is this huge, like, army guy. He served in the army. Big dude, humongous. Like he was, like, kind of like, imagine The Rock, but about a foot shorter. Is about how he was built. And he took each of my weapons and went up to a palm tree and two-handed, like baseball bat, swung it into the palm tree. It took about anywhere from 2 to 5 hits for him to break each one of those, swinging it as hard as he could with both hands against the palm tree. So that was what it finally took to break all my stuff. Which, if you can show me a Bokken in the world that can be smacked, or Waster that can be smacked repeatedly against the palm tree without breaking, that would be amazing. But my stuff, like, really that's the only way to break it, is to smack it against something that's hard and probably embedded in the ground, that's something sedentary that's not going to move no matter what you do to it. That's really the only way to break them. I had a style that I used to make like a long time ago when I had a shop when I was in college. I designed an unbreakable Bokken. It was a very untraditional design, though. It was made of American hickory. It had a belly in the top, like, probably the top, little more than the top third of the blade had a belly to it, and it tapered down from there into a handle. And I made it from pressure treated American hickory, which is what they make shovel handles out of. And it had a lifetime guarantee. If you could break it, I would replace it. It only happened once. And after I replaced it, the guy admitted to me that what he did was he actually went up to like a concrete pillar and smacked it against the pillar with both hands as hard as he could over and over until it broke. He was trying to break it because he wanted a new one, which is fine. I got him a new one. All right, so let's find out if this is a good idea or a mistake. I think it's going to look good, though. maple has a nice grain, but it doesn't naturally pop out. Sometimes when you stain it, it kind of makes the grain pop a little better. So we're going to do that. And we'll see how I like it. And if I don't like it, too bad, because this is permanent. What do you guys think? A little excess on the side there. Oh no, that's a tool mark. Oh no. I didn't even see that. It's hard to see the grain in maple. Oh well. It gives it a little attitude, I guess. We'll call it distressed, right? But yeah, I didn't even see the there are some tool marks in the handle. It's crazy. I sanded this to like 600 grit. I would have thought that would have gotten it out, but I guess not. I must have missed that spot. A couch potato will break my weaponry. Call it a tool mark. Yeah, I mean, it gives it a little attitude. I think that's fine. This one is not meant for combat. This is meant more as a costume accessory or prop. So please don't stake anyone with my stakes, okay? Please don't. I don't want to end up on the news that way. Like, that's not how I want to end up on the news. I feel like I would end up on the news as the guy who sold the vampire steak to the person who staked a person. Because here's a funny thing about vampire steaks. They will also kill people. So please don't do that. All right, here we go. Woot woot. Oh my goodness. I am done, son. Sales will skyrocket. Hang on, let me take these gloves off. Everyone digs scars. Call it Tool Mark Joe. Yeah, man. That's what we'll call the sword, the Tool Mark Joe. Oh my good gracious. But yeah, so you guys, this is the last week of spooky season for my shop. If you live anywhere from like Texas east, you need to order before Friday the 24th to make sure it gets to you in time for Halloween. If you live on anywhere west of that, you probably need to order by Tuesday to make sure it gets to you in time for Halloween. So we're down to the wire. I would highly recommend, if there's anything you need for Halloween from my shop, I would highly recommend ordering it this weekend to make sure it has plenty of time to get to you. Everyone digs scars. That is also true. Everyone except probably the people who have them. I find that that's true. People who have scars are always, I feel like, self-conscious about the scars. But I also feel like people who look at people who have scars don't feel that way. It's weird. I have so many scars. No facial scars, though. As you guys may have noticed, I have a little bit of a baby face. Like, this face, like, the beard helps. But this face, when I was in my 20s, oh my God, I looked like a child. I look like a 12-year-old. Like, I taught high school as a teacher's aide when I was like 26 years old, 27. Actually, no, I might have been almost 29. And I would walk through the halls of the school and get stopped by other teachers asking me for a hall pass because they thought I was a student. That's how young I looked. I looked so freaking young. But it used to be back in the day when I was in the Marine Corps also for a while. When I was in the Marine Corps, it used to drive me nuts because I looked so young. No one ever took me seriously. And I used to like pray for a facial scar because I thought maybe if I had a facial scar, I would look more menacing and people would take me seriously. Never got the facial scar though. Got scars everywhere else, but never got a facial scar. Yeah, but I thought, you know, if I had a facial scar, people would take me seriously, or an eye patch maybe. Well, I got one other thing I want to show you guys before I call it a day. So it's not finished yet. But I did get, this is going to be a Polynesian war club. It's about 4 feet long. This is rosewood. It's a very thick piece of rosewood. I've not quite done shaping it out. It's got a few more things I want to get kind of perfected. And it's going to take me a very long time to sand this thing because it is a behemoth. Once I get it completely sanded, I'm going to embed a row of tiger shark teeth on this side and here on this part. So they'll have shark teeth here and shark teeth here on this inner part. Because most likely that inner part would be the part you would want to swing with since it has a forward curve. But if you look, I love this thing because I was able to cut it in a way where the grain follows the curve of the entire club. So, but yeah, this thing's going to be huge. It is 4 feet long, made of 1 1/4 inch thick rosewood, which is a hardwood, not the hardest of woods, but a hardwood. And I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking about shaving this part down just a little bit because it is very forward heavy, which I guess it's a club. You expect it to be forward heavy. But I haven't decided yet. But I at least got the basic profile shaped out and I got it sanded. So I'm hoping to have this done in time for Black Friday. Like when the holiday shopping season starts, I'm hoping to have this finished in time for that. But that one's going to take me a while. That one's not a quick project. Now, rosewood is very hard, and that thing is so beefy that I have to use my draw knife on it to do all my shaping. I can't really shape it on with an abrasive. So I've thought about trying an angle grinder, but I don't know if I'm willing to risk that. Yeah. It looks like something out of Monster Hunter. Yeah, it's huge. It's 4 feet, 48 inches long, and very, very forward heavy. It's going to be an impressive piece when it's done, I think, though. I think it's going to look cool. Once again, that was a piece of wood that I work in home renovations right now. I'm also an author. I work for Penguin Random House as an author. Don't really make a lot of money doing that, but I make a little extra income doing that. I was, up until about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I was a marketing copywriter as my day job, but I got laid off for like the 3rd or 4th time in my career. It seems like anytime a company's laying off people, the first person they lay off is the copywriter. So I'm kind of done with it. So I'm working in home renovations, which I don't mind. I actually kind of like it. I get up at like 5:30 in the morning. I go to a job site. I sand, paint, strip paint. I strip paint. I don't strip. You know what I mean. Nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see the clothes, behind the clothes on this. But yeah, so living that stripper life, you know, it's good though. I like it. It's a little less money than I was making as a marketing copywriter, but surprisingly not that much less. And probably by next year, I'll be making about double what I'm making now because I'm still learning. You know, I know enough from what I do here in the shop, but I'm still learning stuff for this job. Ooh, and I got one other thing I want to show you guys. I got these, and I'm looking forward to using them. I live in Florida. We have a lot of old people, and there was a place that they had, it was like an assisted living home, and they had canes that they would like loan out, and they were getting rid of them. So I got a couple of them. I'm going to cut these off. I'm going to paint these, and I'm going to make candy cane vampire steaks. I'm gonna make a pair of vampire steaks that look like candy canes. You may be wondering why I would do that, and I would tell you to stop asking so many freaking questions. because I want to. That's why. I think candy cane vampire steaks are gonna look cool as hell. I think that's gonna be the next big thing. Everybody's gonna want them. And I'm gonna call them Santa's sleigh. That's what I'm gonna call them. That's gonna, because I love puns because I'm an English major. Yeah, I strip and paint. Yeah, I strip the paint and then paint. Candy steaks. Yeah, but I'm gonna call them Santa sleigh steaks is what I'm gonna call them because that's just fun. I'll probably sell them alongside the vampire bats, which is another thing I love to make in my shop. It's basically a baseball bat that's a vampire steak. Which I love making. I haven't sold one of those this year though. It's been so weird. Like almost every spooky season, I sell out of vampire bats. This year, I haven't sold a single one. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe everybody who wanted a vampire bat already owns one. So, but if you're interested in a vampire bat, which is a baseball bat where you can smack a vampire upside the noggin and then stake them, those are available and they are on sale. Everything in my shop right now is on sale, 13% off until November 1st. Custom orders for Halloween are already shut down for my shop. I'm done with custom orders for Halloween. There's no way I can get them done in time. But I am taking custom orders for the holiday season. So if you're interested in something custom, feel free to hit me up. I extincted vampires. That's right. Yep. It's all because of me. I'm responsible for wiping out the entire species of vampires. That's funny, Tony. But yeah, so if you were interested in a custom order for the holidays, I usually start those like literally November 1st, like the day after Halloween. I start those. Halloween weekend, I will probably not be doing anything in the shop. I need a break before the holidays start, so I think I'm going to take Halloween weekend off. I'll be over on Instagram, though. I'll probably be reviewing tons of bad movies that weekend. So if you want to go watch me talk about horrible movies, you can go follow me on Instagram. It's NatRBrown37, NatRBrown37 on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. Warrior Wooden Props is on TikTok. It's on here on YouTube. You can follow me just about anywhere. Just Google Warrior Wooden Props. It's not hard to find me. But anyway, you guys, I think that's it for me for today's Saturday staining. I'm going to get out of here. I got to go home, do some laundry, order groceries, all that jazz. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I will be live tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. for Sunday finishing work. If you are up at that ungodly hour or up that late, if you're on the West Coast, feel free to join me. But I am out. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me. Take care.